Hello, people of God on today. As usual, I pray that this little snippet of encouragement kind of finds you thriving and being the best version of you that God has called you to be. But listen, while many of us may be dealing or experiencing conflicting emotions, sometimes it's hard to address those emotions head on. And no matter what type of relationship that we find ourselves in, each of us often encounter conflicting emotions, and those simultaneously. Now, take for instance, resentment and love. Did you not know that they can coexist? And they coexist within our families, within friendships, within our workplaces, within our churches, and among people who we share the same faith with. But it's unfortunate that these conflicting emotions that we all share or we all have, we're not talking about them enough, and we're not addressing them head on. And most of us feel that it's inappropriate to actually acknowledge that resentment and love coexist within us. So therefore, we ignore or we suppress it. But saints, let me ask a question. When was the last time that ignoring any type of resentment that you had toward someone made that emotion disappear? It's hard to think of it, isn't it? And that's why it's very significant. It's very important that we address the root cause of resentment in order that bitterness can decrease and our love can increase. Resentment, it describes a negative emotional reaction to being mistreated, to being devalued. And there is no one cause of resentment, but most cases it actually involves the underlying sense of just being mistreated or being wronged by someone else. But sometimes experiencing frustration and disappointment, it becomes a natural part of our lives. But resentment, it can stem from several things. And the first root of resentment that I like to speak on is contempt. And contempt is the feeling of being beneath consideration, being devalued, not valued enough. And though we may experience resentment when we are consistently feeling disregarded in our relationships, it's not a good feeling at all. And then the second root of resentment is control. And that's where we have that sense of our free will being compromised. When someone tries to control us, then that triggers us resisting, and it creates resentment in our relationships, regardless which one it is: friendships, spouses, family members, all of that. And then lastly, continuation is another root cause of resentment, and it refers to situations where our concerns and our feelings, it's being dismissed despite us trying to communicate and address it. So if we experience contempt, if we experience control, or if we experience continuation, we still have to adjust our expectation and set healthy boundaries to prevent that resentment spirit being fed. And when we understand and we adequately address these root causes, then we begin to effectively manage resentment. And then we begin to foster the sense of growth of love in all of our relationships. So remember, saints, thriving in these relationships, it requires us confronting what needs to be addressed rather than avoiding it, rather than suppressing it. And this journey towards increasing our love and decreasing resentment, it begins by us being self-aware and by us having a willingness to navigate these conflicting emotions that we experience. We can create healthy and fulfilling connections with our relationships by confronting these issues, setting boundaries, and then adjusting our expectations. So, saints, if it's difficult to address these root causes, then I admonish you to take it to God in prayer. Ask God what to say, when to say it, how to say it. And I promise you, He will give you that. And stand on His word. Have faith. Trust Him. And though it may take a while, again, you'll have the victory in that situation. So, saints, I pray that you are blessed. I pray that you're encouraged. And know that God loves you. And no matter what you're going through, He will see you through it. God bless you and have a great day.